What's happening, people? Welcome back to the Ordinary Reds YouTube channel. And do we have a problem with Harry Maguire? Let's get into this one. Honestly though, like, what's actually happened to Harry Maguire? Like, literally, like, he came for 80 million and that was a bit steep. It was, I mean, he's probably 60 at max, taking into account his form at the time, like World Cup. Leicester were really good at the time, so yeah, they didn't want to sell him. It was Leicester's captain, so, you know, 80 million. Fair enough, right? We want him to be our Van Dijk, our starting rock at the back, but it just hasn't really worked out like that, has it? When he came in last year, I didn't think he did particularly bad, to be honest. He started off kind of slow. He wasn't amazing, but he wasn't great. And he did add stability to the back. Like, he did add like a calming influence. It was a good sign, seeing as like the past few years we've had like chops and changes of defenders at the back. So having Harry Maguire as a rock there, starting every game, good or bad, you know, was a nice change of pace. At least you could pick your back four along with Wan-Bissaka and then Luke Shaw most of the time on the left. Sometimes Brandon Williams, but you know, Maguire was always there. So I was one of his biggest fans at the start. I really thought he was helping us, like in terms of aerial duels, cutting out crosses. All I really thought he had to improve on was scoring headers from corners. It always seems like he gets a free header and just skies it somewhere else. There's plenty of chances he had last year where he had a free header in the box and just fluffed it straight away. And that's kind of where the crack started to show for me, at least. Then there's also one incident, I can't remember which incident it was or what match it was, but there's a point where he came out of defense like charging at someone, jumped in, and they literally just like megged him and went straight past him and was one-on-one on goal. And I can't remember which game that was. I'll try to figure it out. If I figure it out, I'll put it here. But like, that was when I think a lot of strikers, wingers and stuff kind of figured him out. They figured that if you get him to commit, he's too slow to turn around, he's too slow to react, you can go straight past him, and he's a very easy defender to get past. Now, herein lies the problem. Because we have a slow ball-playing defender in Maguire, and for some reason we're playing a slow ball-playing defender in Lindelof beside him the whole of last year, it just kind of like cancelled each other out. So as the season progressed, strikers and wingers figured them out. They figured out what was their weaknesses and actually went at them. So as you saw, when we came to the end of the season after lockdown, I don't know if it was tiredness or just lack of like awareness at the time, but they were getting skinned. They were making mistakes nearly every single game. And especially Maguire, he looked terrible at the end of last season, and it was just like worrying to see. But back before even lockdown, when he scored against Tranmere, was it Tranmere in the Carabao, when he scored that absolute peach of a goal that went top corner? I think that's when it kind of had a turn for Harry Maguire. Like, he actually started playing very well at that point. I remember he had a little run where he was getting man of the match. He also scored a header against Chelsea that was the winner, wasn't it? And then everyone was talking about him in a good way again, and that was nice to see, because the whole season people were kind of iffy about him, and it was good to see him in a good reign of form. And then lockdown happened. So in my opinion, ever since lockdown happened, Harry Maguire has been absolutely terrible. And this is a very big problem, because if you're spending 80 million on a player, he's coming over back from lockdown, and he's playing like that. We were conceding goals left, right and centre. Like, after, I know we won a lot of our games, but a lot of our conceded goals were always mistakes. Like, it really cost us at the end of the season with like the semi-final in Sevilla, even just like the semi-final in the FA Cup against Chelsea. Like, the team just looked lost at the back sometimes. And when you pay that much for a defender, you expect him to have a little bit of awareness, but it just seems that like he's too slow to figure anything out. When he makes a mistake, he almost seems to double up on his mistakes. So when he makes a mistake, he makes another mistake. So you're kind of like, oh Jesus, what's he gonna do? We need to figure this out. Anyway, we got to the end of the season. We conceded a lot less goals than we did the year before, and I really do put that down to Maguire and Lindelof, but at the same time, a lot of their goals were always defensive mistakes. It wasn't like the other team scoring against us. It was always to do with their mistakes, and that's always a worry. Now, just before pre-season, Harry Maguire went on a holiday to Greece in Mykonos, and he got in a bit of a tussle. He got in a bit of a problem with the police, and that's definitely had a toll on his mental health for sure. You see him coming back, he looks like a shell of a man. Like, he's walking around like he looks like the weight of the world on his shoulders, and I think that really affected him. Like, especially, like, it would affect anyone if the police were beating you up or allegedly beating him up and doing all this stuff, and he got in so much trouble and was almost put to jail and stuff like that. So it was a big problem. It's definitely going to reign in your mind. And then especially going back into football like 2 weeks later, you know, footballers probably think, right, once I get in the pitch, it'll all be fine. But it definitely has a toll on your mental health, for sure. So, the new season. We've looked terrible. The whole team's looked terrible. But Maguire has looked absolutely shockingly bad. And it's very worrying, because we don't have many defenders that can come in and replace him. He's our £80 million defender. and he's literally looks like he's worth about 10 mil. Like, do you think you could sell Harry Maguire to anybody at the moment? Like, would Sheffield even take him back at this point? Like, he looks terrible, and he needs to turn it around quick. It's just every game, mistake, causing goals. Like, especially the Spurs game, he looked absolutely terrible. So did Eric Bailly. I'm not going to put that aside, but like, he just looks like he's playing non-league football. I don't know if it's down to fitness, down to his mental health with the Greek incident, or like what's going on. But he just looks like a shell of a player. And what do we do? Do we drop him? Do we play him through his bad form? But his bad form has been going on since after lockdown. So do you think it's time to drop him, or just, you know... But who do we even put in? We don't have another player to put in there. We could put Lindelof and Bailly in there, but we know that doesn't work. So what are we going to do? This could turn out very bad very quick if he doesn't sort it out, because 80 million, he's the most expensive defender of all time, and he looks a shell of it. He needs to be dropped. I think personally, drop him for 1 or 2 games just to see how it is, and then bring him back in. The guy clearly needs a break. He's clearly suffering right now. I mean, just there a few days ago, he got sent off against Denmark for England after 31 minutes. Like, he just can't seem to catch a break at the moment, and I just think his mental is drained. He needs a few days off or a week off. Like, give him a game or 2 off. He played every game last year. I saw a stat where it said that he played the most football out of any player in the top 5 leagues, which is crazy. Cool stat. It means he's never injured. I really like that. But that must be mentally draining though, playing every single game, every single loss, every single win. Like, it must be crazy to not have a break. So I think he needs to be dropped. I think he needs to at least let him sit out the Newcastle game and then see how it goes from there. That is a bit contradictory of me though, because I put him in my team for the Newcastle game in my preview. If you haven't seen it, link in the description or in the little bar here. But at the same time, I want to drop him, but at the same time, he needs to play. So like, we're in that position where we don't have a lot of quality defenders. Maybe keeping Chris Smalling would have helped, but like, he's not amazing either. So it's just a major problem. Like, what do we do? Put it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. One more thing I want to add is that I think that captaincy is really casting a shadow over his head. Like, giving the captain really doesn't help. He doesn't seem like a captain. Every time we have a bad decision go our way, it doesn't seem like he goes to complain, or he doesn't really seem vocal on the pitch. I know you can lead by example, but if he's leading by example, it's him making mistakes. It's him like playing terrible. So I don't think he really needs the burden of being captain at the moment. I'd recommend giving it to Bruno. He's probably the only person who can have it, or De Gea, but De Gea was also stripped of the captaincy already. So I don't know. It's a big problem, and I don't know what we're going to do. But yeah, guys, leave it in the comment section below. Do you think Harry Maguire will get out of this? Do you think he's a good defender? He just needs to be backed, needs to be given time? Do you think he's a waste of space? Do you think we should sell him? Do you think he's an absolute waste of money? Let me know. Put it in the comments below. I'm almost down for a conversation. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here. We're a new channel. We're trying to get up there. And yeah, I appreciate it, guys. See you guys in the next one. Peace.